Hello Pokemon trainers, welcome back to another Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Battle Stadium singles video here on iStarly TV. I know it's been a while, I haven't recorded or posted a video in a little bit, but we got some news yesterday as of recording this video. I'm recording this video on April 1st. I'll probably post it at the end of the day on April 1st, so this is not an April Fool's joke. I don't do April Fool's jokes. But yesterday we got the news for the new rule set that will be happening after Regulation F. And of course, this will be for Pokemon Battle Stadium for singles and doubles. Of course, you know, the official format is always doubles. That's the VGC format. That'll be the format for all the tournaments and everything. But of course, on this channel, I've been playing a lot of singles and exploring that and having a lot of fun with it. So again, this rule set is the same for singles and doubles. And it is just like previous generations. This is Regulation G. We're going in alphabetical order now. And this Regulation G format, which is this new format, will allow you to use one restricted legendary Pokemon. So I have a list here from Cerebi. I'm not sure exactly how I'll be, this might just be the background, or maybe I'll put in little pictures as I'm, narrating and stuff, but this is the list of, it says newly usable Pokemon. I'll post a link to this page in the description. This is cerebi.net, and this shows the rule set for Regulation G. This is starting on May 1st, and it goes until August 31st. So a few months there, and of course we still have a full month left of the Regulation F format that we're currently in, and the format will change pretty drastically starting in May. So of course, again, that's the big piece of information, which is that we will be allowed to use a restricted Pokemon on our team, just one. So one restricted per team. And restricted Pokemon are basically like the legendary Pokemon, basically like the box art legendary Pokemon like Solgaleo, Groudon, I drew a blank on, Miraidon and Koraidon, basically those types of Pokemon. This does not include mythical Pokemon, so Pokemon like Mew, Jirachi, Celebi, etc., Shaman. Those are still not legal, but again, this is going to be a really powerful format, and it's funny because just a few things to talk about. They've been doing this pretty much in every generation, I think starting since, I want to say Generation 6. Maybe they did this in Gen 5 as well, maybe I'm not remembering that, but they've been doing this for a while now where like towards the end of a game's lifespan, they will allow you to use restricted Pokemon. And, it's been interesting. I think a lot of people end up kind of hating it personally, and I've seen a lot of people excited for this, I think mainly because I personally, and I think a lot of people are kind of fed up with the current format. At least in singles, there's, Fluttermane everywhere. Chien-Pao is amazing, Ursaluna, Urshifu. I mean, there's just a lot of the same threats, and I try to build teams with unique Pokemon and try unique things out, and it always feels like I just lose to the same things, so you definitely need to be prepared for those. So this is going to be really interesting because some of the best Pokemon from last generation that were really good were nerfed, notably Zacian, or Zacian, however you say it. I'll say Zacian, that's how I always say it, but Zacian was pretty much the strongest Pokemon in Gen 8 by far. It was insanely powerful, and its typing was amazing, its stats were amazing, and its ability boosted its attack stat every time it entered the battle, which is insane. So it was just by and large the best Pokemon in the game. And once restricted Pokemon were allowed, unsurprisingly, it was the #1 most used Pokemon by far. So it was basically the Fluttermane of that format. It's also good against Fluttermane, so maybe Fluttermane will die. Maybe Fluttermane will be no longer viable. I would be happy to see it even at the cost of Zacian being legal. But importantly, Zacian was nerfed, so it used to be where its ability was every time it would enter battle, when it had the Rusted Sword item, its attack stat would be boosted by 1 stage, which is insane because it already had a massive attack stat. I think it was like base 150, which is huge. Now, as of Gen 9, when Zacian enters the battlefield, its attack stat will be boosted by 1 stage, so same thing, but this only happens once per battle. So if you switch in your Zacian, you get the attack boost, and then if the opponent goes into something that can wall Zacian that won't die to it, and you have to switch out, when you switch back in later, Zacian will not get that attack boost anymore. So that's a pretty fair nerf, especially if you played a lot of Gen 8, I guess, singles or doubles when restricted Pokemon were allowed. It's good to know that Zacian will be a lot weaker now, though I think it'll still be really strong. And maybe if you build your team in such a way that like you'll only be bringing in Zacian at the end of the battle anyway, you can probably get a lot of kills and just go off from there. So yeah, Zacian is still going to be a really good Pokemon, but it's definitely not as broken as it used to be. Other Pokemon to mention that were good in the previous format, in the previous generation with this rule set, Necrozma, notably the fused Necrozmas. So there's Duskmane Necrozma, which is basically Necrozma plus Solgaleo, and I think Dawnwings Necrozma, which is the Lunala Necrozma. Those were both really good. I think Duskmane was really good. It was one of the best, and it's another Pokemon with a massive attack stat. It's got a great typing, and its ability is really good. Its ability reduces the damage from super effective moves. So I think you take 25% less damage from super effective moves, so weakness policy is a great item. Also, something that I haven't mentioned yet that's worth keeping in mind is terastallizing, which is something that none of these Pokemon have been able to do yet. I mean, I guess they can do it if you have them in the game, but you know, this is the first format where these restricted Pokemon are legal, where you'll be able to give them different Terra types. So that'll be really interesting to see, because not only do we have all these really strong Pokemon, but you know, we have these different Terra types to change whether they're defensive or offensive Terra types. So like Zacian, you could go Terra Steel for your Behemoth Blades to hit even harder. You could do a defensive Terra type. So if you're worried about, you know, ground types or something like that with Zacian, you could go Terra Grass, or I don't know, I'm just kind of throwing stuff out there. With Duskmane Necrozma, again, because you have that ability that reduces damage from super effective moves, I think Duskmane is looking like a really solid threat. Other threats that have been really good in the past, Calyrex, the Ghost Rider form, I think it's called Ghost Rider, which is the Calyrex fused with Spectrier, the Psychic and Ghost type. That's another one that's really, really strong, and then its ability is insane. When you get a KO, you get your special attack boosted, which is just insane, it just snowballs. Kyogre is another one that's always been very good because it can summon the rain, it's tanky, it hits really hard, and you just get like a free boost with your moves. You know, you get Thunder for free, and then you can go for like Water Spout or Origin Pulse, which do a lot of damage, especially in the rain. So again, Kyogre is another amazing Pokemon for this. Rayquaza is always good, although we don't have Megas. A couple other new ones, though, are the new forms of Dialga and Palkia, which were introduced in Legends Arceus. I don't remember the name of them, but maybe I'll put a picture of them here if I remember to do that. But they also have different stats, so those are also going to be really interesting, because this will be the first time that we'll get to see them in a competitive setting. And basically all of these Pokemon are really good. I mean, they're strong legendary Pokemon, but of course what's worth talking about now is the new legendary Pokemon. There are 3 brand new Pokemon that were added in Scarlet and Violet to the restricted list, and of course those are Koraidon, Miraidon, and Terapagos. I'm going to be completely honest, I still don't fully understand what the heck Terapagos does, so please bear with me on that. I need to learn like all the specifics of it. I know it has like a couple different forms, and I don't remember how powerful it is. I'll need to look at all the specifics of Terapagos, so let me know in the comments if you want to school me on Terapagos. However, Koraidon and Miraidon, I think, will be really powerful. They both have 135 speed, which is really fast. That's Fluttermane speed for what it's worth. And then Koraidon, the Fighting Dragon, has a 135 attack, and then Miraidon has a 135 special attack. So they're really good offensive Pokemon. Once again, terastallizing is going to help them out. They also both have really good move pools, like they learn a lot of really good moves for coverage. And finally, they both have unique abilities, which are basically like a better version of like Groudon. You know, Koraidon summons the sunlight and boosts its attack stat, which is insane. And then Miraidon summons electric terrain and boosts its special attack, I believe. And on top of that, these 2 Pokemon are going to work really, really well. I mean, I was talking about how Fluttermane might not be as good anymore, but these 2 Pokemon are going to make the Paradox Pokemon even better because, of course, you know, Photosynthesis, the ability on Scarlet Paradox Pokemon, it procs when they're in the sunlight, and then which Koraidon summons, and then Electric Terrain and Quark Drive is the same with the Violet Paradox Pokemon. So you can build a good team. We finally have a good electric terrain setter with Miraidon, which before this we didn't have a good electric terrain setter in Scarlet and Violet. So you might see a lot more like Quark Drive teams with electric terrain, you know, to set it up. And then Pokemon like Iron Hands, which is already really good. Iron Bundle is already really good. Iron Moth. I mean, it just makes them even better. And of course, the same is true for Koraidon. Like, you don't even need to like worry about like Sunlight. Like, you can have Koraidon on your team with a few of the Paradox Pokemon. And even if your Sun plan fails, like the enemy changes the weather or they kill your Koraidon or something, you still just have good Pokemon on your team. So anyways, yeah, this will be a really interesting format. That's kind of what I wanted to just talk about, is how excited I am for this format. I'm excited right now because it's something new and different. You know, ask me again in 3 months and we'll see how I feel. But for right now, I think I'm excited about this, to try out a lot of these new legendary Pokemon. And I don't know, with the Zacian nerf, I hope that it'll be more balanced. I hope that the options you have for which legendary you can pick on your team are pretty, you know, spread out. Like, I hope it's not just 2 or 3 that everyone uses and then, you know, no one uses the other ones, right? You do only get 1 though on your entire team, so that is going to be interesting. You have to build your team around it basically, and of course you have to account for the fact that the opponent is going to have a strong legend as well. So it'll be interesting, because last time in Sword and Shield, because I played this format a lot, it was really interesting because Pokemon like Quagsire and like Ditto ended up being like at the top of the meta. Like, I think they were in like the top 10, because basically, I mean, I think a big reason was just basically Zacian. Like, Quagsire could ignore the attack boost from Zacian and tank the damage, and then Ditto could transform into Zacian, so it's kind of like you had 2 Zacians on your team, which is really funny. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of like Pokemon that we're not seeing right now might rise up because they have a niche against these super powerful legends. So let me know in the comments which of these legendary Pokemon you are most excited to try out. Of course, like I said, we have a few new ones, but even the old ones, again, with terastallization, there is kind of like a new layer to this. So it'll be interesting to see how everything plays out. So, I mean, I'm interested in trying Zacian. I think it'll be strong. My first thought just goes right to Miraidon though, and Koraidon, because I want to build an electric terrain team with Miraidon, and I want to build a sun team with Koraidon, and they're going to be really strong. So let me know in the comments what you think. Please do leave a like and subscribe for more Pokemon Scarlet and Violet videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one.